You putting Bondo?
Filler. Bondo's a brand. It's like
Better
Kleenex. Now, and this stuff has changed a lot over the years.
Oh, it smells the same.
Yeah, this stuff has changed a lot over the years. This is a very lightweight filler that's easy sanding. Some of the stuff that I worked with back in the day, actually you were sanding, you were sanding some of it off. And once that stuff sets up, wow, it's hard to sand. You want to use a light filler that's easy sanding because you might have to put filler on more than once.
Fill, sand, fill,
Second
sand.
or 2 or 3 or 4 times.
Sand and fill and sand and fill and sand and fill.
Yes,
Yet you only want to be like 1/8 of an inch at the very most.
right. Filler does not like to be on thick. And most of the people that do it don't quite get it. And you don't mix up that much at a time because you have a very limited time to work your filler. In this weather, I might have 10 minutes. I might. And if you put too much hardener in it,
Then you have even less.
it turns to cottage cheese in about 3 minutes.
Oh,
And you can't make it work at all.
And it gums up, and then you just gotta wait till it hardens and take it off.
And then you start over again.
It's a big pain.
So I'm actually this is a lot of filler. Am I right?
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's a lot of filler. And it will go a long ways, but what I want to do, you'll see what I'm going to do with it. So what we do is we put some filler. This is the hardener. Now this stuff is like a 25-to-1 mix. And I find, at least, and correct me if I'm wrong, 1 line across your glop is usually enough.
Yeah.
If any more,
I mean, if you have a dollop about yay big and you put like this much of a line on it,
yep.
if you use too much, you'll know. You barely want to change the color of the filler with the hardener.
And you do not want to see any of the hardener in the mix when you're done.
And you notice he's not stirring it, he's folding it.
Right, because if you stir it,
Bubbles.
Folded.
Yes. Bubbles?
Up and over. You folded it.
you fold it in.
it's an eating dough.
Right, you want to make sure that it's nice and
It's
smooth.
Italian tuna for different.
Yes, you want to make sure that it's nice and smooth.
I do like the smell.
Are we huffing on camera?
Probably top.
Oh well.
Fucking A.
We're getting high.
Fuck it.
Okay, so what we'll do is put a little bit on our paddle here.
On a little up our nose.
There we go.
Not that kind of paddle.
And then we put it on.
Why are we doing it there?
Why are we doing it there? There was a hole there.
Oh.
We're flattening out holes.
Can you see?
So it's not going on the entire door.
No. You'd be surprised.
There is a thing that you do for show cars. It's called a skim coat, but you do not use filler.
Use a special.
You use a special thing and you cover the entire thing, and then you block sand the whole thing so it's perfectly flat. So when you put your paint on, and you can, do the paint so it's perfectly flat, because factory paint and most paint jobs have orange peel in it because metal is not perfectly flat.
Right.
So the orange peel tricks your eye, because if not, if you try to do this and it's perfectly flat and you wet sand the paint and do it, it'll look like a mirage when you're driving down a hot road. It'll look like it's wavy even though it's not. That's what the orange peel is left in factory paint for.
Ew, it's starting to harden
It's
already.
starting to harden, yep.
You have to
See that
cover
little
the
bit of
whole door?
cottage cheese right here? There, I'm going to stop right there because there isn't much more I can do to it. This only lasted a few minutes and you saw how much hardener I put
How
on
big
it.
was the hole?
Pardon?
How big was the hole?
The hole, there was the hole right here that was probably about a 1/4 inch diameter.
This has to be tough.
However, this trailing edge was not flat either.
Ah, I see.
Right, I've got some high spots in here as well. There's a high spot here. This one's a little bit high. This one's good. This one's a little bit low.
Don't we put molding on there?
Pardon?
Isn't there like molding that goes to cover it?
Ooh, look at that. Good job, Sherman. You gonna go frost cakes later?
No, this is not that good right now. I'm
You know,
not
you're
doing
hanging
that
with a
very
bunch
much.
of gay guys. That means something completely different.
Oh, I can figure that out. After I said it, I was like, ah, shit.
There's me, Bobby. He's around
Gee,
us
I
too
wonder.
First there is the tossing of the salad.
Yes.
My milkshake to the yard.
Oh,
This is
my
not good.
goodness.
This is not good because see these little guys right here? These are all defects. All this crap is defect, but it's just like a first order fill. We will end up taking most of this off, actually. We'll take most of this off. When you do something like this, you really want to take about 80% of it off.
And you'll
So what
know,
the-
you'll know because you'll see what doesn't come off.
Right.
Yeah, you'll see that when we
So
start
bare metal
sanding.
means it's already flat.
Fill, sand,
Right.
fill,
If it's
sand,
spotty, then it's
fill,
what it
sand,
Oh,
sand,
yeah.
sand.
So this is, we'll probably do this to this door 3 or 4 times. We'll do it 3 or 4 times to get it reasonably flat. Then this will get primed. And then the whole process starts over again.
Oh, really? Get to
Oh,
the
yeah.
farm?
God, no.
After you prime it,
And we have to sand it again.
And
Oh,
sand it by
there's so
hand,
much
right?
sanding.
You can only do it by hand. You can't use a machine.
Yeah. If it's a heavy build farmer, you can hit it real quick with a light DA, but yeah, you're supposed to sand it by hand. with
Yeah,
a flat
primer, there's a lot of hand sanding
That's where
coming
the
up.
skill comes in.
And this is really
Big
cool
shoulders.
because everybody takes part of the car and just goes to town.
That's where they came from.
I thought I had met the perfect woman when she told me she loved wet sanding.
What?
It was a con job. She found out it was a lot of work. And she changed her mind. But anyway, so that's how this goes on. I did not do a good job putting it on, in all honesty, even though it's
you went,
reasonable.
you went over
But
it
it
too many
gets sanded
times.
anyway.
No, it
I'm
was
sure it's
starting to,
weathers.
right here, you can see this, it was all starting to harden up. And right here, it was starting to harden up. The little spots right here.
And when it starts to harden up, I mean, that little divot is a bitch to sand out.
That's amazing
Yes.
how quickly.
Look at that.
I mean, it's really a bitch.
Well, it's
you
for
think it's just
cops.
this little
It's
thing,
metal.
It's,
but
it's
you're,
for cop
when you're
anyway.
sanding it,
It's fine.
what you can do a lot of
No, it's
times is sometimes you get a file, like a real nasty file, and if you, like say this didn't have trim and this was low instead of high and we needed to fill this in. So you grab that shit in and just as it starts getting tacky,
It's called a cheese grater.
Yeah,
or a
and then
surform file.
it takes a lot
So
of that
let's
shit
say that we're
off
under,
and then you
like,
can swipe
some
it again.
time crunch,
Yeah.
and we've messed this up. Can we scrape this off?
No, you
You
sand
don't,
it
you
off.
sand it off.
Just so you're gonna wait for it to cure and
Yeah,
then
but
sand
it cures in, this is gonna be,
Sandable in about 10 minutes.
yeah,
Oh,
it
that
should,
quickly.
Until they get
So
more.
not overnight
Yeah.
or anything.
yeah, see it's starting, right now it's
So
got
that,
the
I know I would
consistency
get
of,
very upset. Like I'd be like, this has to come off right now.
no, it's fine.
No, it's
fine. It really, it is.
It's fine.
There's
It's
people
fine.
that, like my teacher, when I learned how this stuff, he could do this entire
just
door
said
in
it's
about
really
5
not.
minutes and it would be perfect. Because
Yeah.
he's been doing it for 25, 30 years.
Yeah.
He
Right.
could just go, and you see him mix it like the guy who took over my collision shop in Georgia. He goes, and it's perfect. And
But
I'm
he
like,
does it every day.
He does it every day. I'm
Yeah.
like, Vic,
Everyday
I hate you.
maintenance.
Just like the drywall people,
Like
they
those
say
guys
the
that-
same
Yeah.
thing.
Right.
Yeah,
Professional
it's exactly.
do it
There was a
right.
guy in class who did drywalling, and he
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
awesome at spackling.
Yeah,
It's
it's
perfect.
It's an art. You do-
Oh,
it
yeah.
is. Yeah. And it
Yeah,
comes with
it's
practice,
like
and it's a
drywall.
multi-step process, so it doesn't
Just
have
like
to be
welding.
So
Yeah.
after we get it reasonably flat with filler on it, when we put the primer on, we'll go and we'll do a preliminary sand, and we can use a light. Take your light and put it really down low so people can sight down the panel and see the smooth highs and the lows. See them?
That.
See where they are? There's one there, there's one there, there's some weirdness going on there. So you take a friend of mine, we can actually do that. We can build an LED light set that we put next to the car so that we can sight down it to make sure it's reasonably flat. So after this is on, you do some heavy primer, let the primer cure, and then you block it. Then after you've done that, you throw another coat of primer on it, and then before you block it, you take a contrasting color of paint and you go really light, super
See the
light.
noise again?
Sorry, it wasn't as good. Right? And it's like little spackles of paint.
Yeah, it's
And-
like you take the paint and you go tss, 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 just to get a little
Mist
bit
it.
of paint on it.
Yeah, mist coat.
Yeah, a mist coat or guide coat.
Guide coat.
They
Guide
actually
coat.
they also sell powder that you can sit there and do this called guide. And then when you sand it, when you're block sanding it with a flat block, you can see if you get into bare metal, it's a high spot. If you have a nice piece of color and it's not sanded smooth, it's a low spot. And that's when you use the different kind of filler on top of the primer, so you can.
Right.
It's not this stuff.
No, back in the, I actually have some of the other stuff.
Dolphin glaze is awesome for going over top of that.
Yeah.
For little divots.
Yeah, I have some of that stuff, and that's really good stuff too.
Glaze.
You know, we've got some really rough spots on this car. We've got some that are fine. It's going to be a little bit of work, but we'll get there from there.
This
And
is exceptionally rewarding work.
They do sell one product.
sell that sanding.
No, it is. It is. When you see all these, when you hear all these steps, it sounds like, oh my God, we're never going to be done with it.
No, you get. It's actually kind of exciting.
It's exciting and it's very rewarding. You know, when you get all done and you see what it looks like and you feel it,
And then you
and
understand.
you run your bare hand over it and you understand.
Once we're past the sanding.
No, I just meant like,
Is it in the paint?
if we put the paint on too early, we're gonna see a lot of flaws.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
You don't sand the primer. You can wet sand or color sand clear to get it smoother. Like orange peel.
but it will
Oh.
accentuate any defects you have in the paint.
Clear coat.
All right, come on in here.
Basically, if you can feel it, the paint will multiply what it looks like.
Yes.
So if you feel this, the paint, especially base coat, clear coat.
The same principle applies. You're gonna have a mark on the wall.
Show and tell.